The year was 1985. Ronald Reagan was the president, and We Are the World was the #1 song in the country. And if you wasn't bumping Dougie Fresh and the Get Fresh Cruise the show, I don't know what you was doing. But we was singing a different song in Southeast San Diego that day, because my homeboy Sagon Penn ended up shooting and killing an officer. I was just a Pop Warner football kid. We won a Q Bowl that year.
I did not know what to say.
It was by chance that I was standing on my block at the corner of 41st and F Street when I saw Sagon Penn come flying by in a police car.
I couldn't believe it. He punched me, and then the other one, he started coming at me. I said, please, don't. What's going on? Why you guys doing this? Why you guys doing this? What's the matter? What's the matter? I didn't do nothing. What's the matter? And then the other one, I couldn't believe it. He reached down into his holster and pulled out the gun club.
I knew he was headed to his grandfather's house on 40th Street. Sagon was driving his father Tom's truck that day. He gave some local rappers a ride. The police pulled him over and thought they was Crips. But I knew Sagon wasn't crippin'.
Seemed like they was trying to
It was a struggle for the gun, and shots was fired.
First.
Right along Sarah Ruiz made the distress call.
What is your exact location?
I'm right along with Riggs. 2 officers down. I'm right along and I've been shot. I don't know the location.
Where have you been hit?
In the back and in the side. And the officer
Sagon's karate teacher was quick to come to his defense.
I remember hearing.
And if you grew up in Mount Hope like we did, you know Sagon Penn was damn near a black belt.
To take a life based on his own personal interpretation that his life was in danger. He was of the impression that he had to do what he did to save his life. Had nothing to do with pride. Had nothing to do with anything except survival.
Just wanna make it out. Just wanna make it out.
So I told him, you got to move the police car in order for me to get out of my car out of the driveway there, see. So he went out and moved the police car. Do things like that, He never been in no trouble. So he's always good, peaceful, never getting in no fights.
Milton Silverman was Sagon's attorney. And he was on some Johnny Cochran shit.
Not guilty, sir.
You have a right to file within 60 days of the time that the information was filed. You waive that time.
We make the world go round. We make the world go round. The world go round. Just wanna make it out. Make it out. The whole community of Southeast San Diego was lit. We was on pins and needles.
Us against them feeling. And that is one that was initiated by the police department.
Sagon Penn went on trial for murder in 1986.
You hit him four or five times, and you don't recall him having...
Milton Silverman argued self-defense, while the DA, Michael Carpenter, claimed Sagon Penn was trying to escape.
Beat your black
But escape
ass.
what? He wasn't even under arrest.
Those aren't words that you would say.
No, they are not.
And you're sure you didn't say them?
I am positive I did not say them. I know myself real well.
He said, put your hands behind your back, or I'm going to kick your ass, or something like that.
Well, that's the first time you've ever testified to that.
Well,
Crystal Smith was a classmate of mine. We went to Gompers together. It happened right near her front yard in Encanto.
Everything they said, it was like, you black mother effer. And it was just black, and nigger. And it wasn't nothing nice in there.
Please be careful. I promise you'll see. None of us will ever forget the 9 times that
during the trial,
this has happened.
Penn's father spoke to the media.
The last 10 years.
We will all come together and find out what can we do to mend these differences. Does the color of your skin has to make a difference whether or not you're human? Does the color of your skin designate pain or love? Does the color of your skin means I'm
Mr. Penn was right. We just wanted equality in the community.
Twirled him around and Sagon backed up. All of a sudden, sticks began to swinging and flowing.
The witnesses made a rap about it, literally.
My girl looked out the window. Now what did she see? She saw 2 officers in Sagon Penn and a truckload of the rest of my friends. She said, hey, look, baby, something just ain't right. Those 2 officers and their brother go fight. Penn turned away in his frustration, trying to avoid the situation. The 2 officers, they reacted quick and didn't hesitate to use the stick, because they was beating them down.
Sagon wasn't saying nothing, but why was they beating him up? And he was holding his hands like this, asking them why was they beating him up? For no reason.
I think it's a pretty big struggle, because the people of my generation do not sympathize too much with Mr. Penn, because they don't understand. They don't understand the situation. But I try to.
I could see by this case, because I knew Sagon personally, and I knew he wasn't a person, evil that just go off on somebody. So I know they must have done something really bad to him, because he wouldn't.
9.5% of the population would have been controlled in this situation by the police officers. Who's creating the problem? Sagon Penn.
Everywhere that Donovan James goes, there's danger. Whether it's there when he starts or not, if it ain't there, he'll make it. He'll make it a hot time in the old town tonight because he's out there getting the job done. Wearing that badge.
You have got to stand off and look at the evidence and the testimony that you've heard and seen and make a determination based on that, without these things, without these emotions, without prejudice, without passion.
Well, Dr. King, the dream is here. We may not have reached the promised land yet, but we have, as Americans, turned our backs on bigotry and hatred and race prejudice and the image of a police officer sitting on top of a black man, beating him in the face, telling him as if he's a nigger and that he's going to beat his black ass. We have turned our back on him.
He wouldn't let himself be handcuffed. And that's when the penultimate event occurred, when he was trying to handcuff him. He led Jacobs into believing he was submitting. Jacobs got the handcuffs, the gun came out, and the shots were fired.
And 3 or 4 adult people there believed that he was going to be killed. And ladies and gentlemen, when you have to call the police to stop the police, then you have a rather poor society indeed.
Yes, there is a system of justice in San Diego. Yes, there is guilt in the Sagon Penn case. And yes, Sagon Penn is guilty.
When that verdict was read, you can hear a pin drop.
Count 1, the charge of first-degree murder. The verdict reads, we, the jury in the above entitled cause, find the defendant, Sagon Penn, not guilty of the crime of first-degree murder.
It was not guilty.
It's too incredible to allow a black man to get away with the murder of a police officer, so he must be retried even
The DA ended up trying Penn again on the lesser charges of manslaughter and attempted murder. So he went on trial in 1987, and once again he was acquitted. Penn was a free man. Now he had to go back into the streets of Southeast and try to get his life back.
Hard and hurt, man's dead, one's wounded, the kid is wounded also. How can you say you have a victory?
That he wasn't guilty, and if he had been, we would have found him guilty. And I think the community needs to get behind us now and say the decision has been made, like Mike and Debbie and the rest of them have said, and stand behind us and say, you were there, you heard it all, you witnessed the whole thing, and you've made your decision. Now let's go on and let's make San Diego a better place for our kids to grow up in.
We got one, man. Let's drop that bomb on him. I'm gonna make the city great again. Crank it up and make it great again. Make the whole hood great again. San Diego nigga made it big. Make the hits like I'm Tony Gwynn. Fuck the numbers, I just want to win. I'm in the game while they on the bench. Crank it up, here we go again. Hey, if you a DJ, hope you bang this. And if If you don't, you probably on some lame shit. I'm out of Torrey Pines where the waves is. Celebrating on some cool in the game shit. Going hard like I'm running on a paper route. 41st Street nigga that done made it out. Thought I was washed up, but I still got it. Even when I'm up against